Breaking news, Viking Nation. The first revelation is about to detonate inside US Bank Stadium and beyond. A rookie quarterback just authored one of the most stunning debuts in NFL history, but not without controversy that nearly changed everything. A critical ruling on a fumble that wasn't actually became the foundation for a miracle. A superstar receiver's $1 million jewelry sparked conversations across the league while he caught game-changing passes. A devastating injury to a defensive cornerstone threatens to derail championship dreams before they even begin. A head coach's mystical ability to win close games continues to baffle analytics experts who can't quantify his secret weapon. And a second-year quarterback just earned a comparison to a $100 million NFL superstar after the most dramatic turnaround performance you'll ever witness. Each of these shocks could redefine the future of this franchise. And if you think you know what happened on Monday Night Football, you're about to discover the hidden stories that will change everything you thought you knew about the Minnesota Vikings season opener. Cedriel. Parte 2, Primera Noticia, 4,500, 5,000 caracteres. But hold on, as shocking as that comeback was, the entire game nearly took a completely different turn because of one controversial moment that barely anyone understood. We're talking about a ruling that saved the Vikings season before it even truly began. And it involves T.J. Hawkinson. And a play that had Chicago Bears coach Ben Johnson so confused he wasted a crucial timeout that would come back to haunt his team in the final seconds. Here's what went down in the third quarter when everything was hanging by a thread and the Vikings were desperately trying to stay alive against a Bears team that looked ready to bury them in their own stadium. McCarthy throws a short pass to tight end T.J. Hawkinson, and Hawkinson's knee hits the ground, making him down by contact. But here's where it gets absolutely wild. As Hawkinson starts getting up, Bears linebacker Noah Sewell comes flying in and punches the ball right out of his hands without even touching the player's body. The ball goes flying, Bears players are celebrating, and it looks like Chicago just got a massive turnover at the Minnesota 25-yard line that would have essentially ended the game right there. Ben Johnson is so convinced it's a fumble that he throws his challenge flag, burning a timeout and a challenge in the process. The replay booth reviews it during the commercial break, and when they come back, the ruling stands: no fumble, Hawkinson was down by contact. But wait, here's the part that even NFL rules analyst Russell Yerk had to explain to confused fans watching at home. And apparently to Ben Johnson, who clearly didn't understand this specific nuance of the rulebook. Any contact with the ball carrier or the ball after the ball carrier's knee has struck the ground makes him down by contact, period. The rule exists specifically to avoid nitpicking over whether the defender only hit the ball versus hitting the player. So basically, once Hawkinson's knee was down, Sewell punching the ball, and only the ball is legally no different than touching the player directly. It ends the play without a fumble. Case closed. Johnson apparently had no idea about this rule, because if he had known that it didn't matter whether Sewell hit only the ball without touching Hawkinson, he never would have challenged the play. Which means he wouldn't have lost the challenge, which means he would have had one more precious timeout during those critical final moments when the Bears were desperately trying to get the ball back with enough time to potentially tie the game. That one timeout could have been the difference between victory and defeat. And the irony is that Johnson's own ignorance of the rules cost his team a chance at redemption. If you're a Vikings fan right now, you gotta be thanking the football gods for Ben Johnson's lack of rules knowledge, because without that mistake, we might be talking about a completely different outcome on Monday night. Do you think the Bears would have found a way to tie it up if they had that extra timeout at the end? Drop your thoughts in the comments and smash that like button if you believe the Vikings were destined to win no matter what. Vamos de parte 3. Segunda noticia. 4,500, 5,000 caracteres. And just when fans thought they understood everything about Monday night's game, here comes the revelation about the most expensive piece of jewelry on the field that everyone was talking about. We're diving deep into the story behind Justin Jefferson's legendary diamond-encrusted chain that's worth more than most people's houses, and how this $1 million necklace became a symbol of Vikings excellence while he was busy torching the Bears secondary. Listen closely, Viking Nation, because what you're about to learn about Jefferson's bling game will blow your mind and show you just how much of a superstar mentality this man carries onto the field every single Sunday. We're talking about a 14K gold chain that's absolutely loaded with 37 VVS diamonds, crafted by the legendary New York-based jeweler Leo Frost. And this thing doesn't just shine, it creates sharp streaks of blue, green, yellow, and white that light up the entire stadium. The price tag? A cool $1 million, because when you're Justin Jefferson and you're putting up Hall of Fame numbers year after year, you won't mess around with costume jewelry. This isn't just some flashy accessory either. This chain has been through wars on the football field, including that famous Week 17 clash with the Packers when it actually broke during the heat of battle and Jefferson had to stuff the whole thing in his pants to keep it safe. No harm, no foul, because protecting $1 million investment is just smart business, and Jefferson handled it like the professional he is. But here's where it gets even more insane. The chain is just the beginning of Jefferson's diamond obsession. Before games, he rocks a diamond-encrusted grill that sparkles just as much as his necklace, though he eventually takes it off in favor of his mouthpiece when it's time to get serious about catching passes. He's also into tooth gems, because apparently having diamonds on your actual teeth is the next level of flex that only superstars can pull off. Jefferson's part of this exclusive club of NFL players who flood the field with diamonds, joining guys like Jamar Chase, Lamar Jackson, and Deebo Samuel in this ultra-elite jewelry game that costs more than luxury cars. The crazy part is that none of this bling seems to slow him down or interfere with his ability to create masterpieces on the gridiron. If anything, it might actually make him play better, like he's channeling the power of those diamonds into every route he runs. And on Monday night, while that $1 million chain was bouncing around his chest, Jefferson was out there making the catches that helped JJ McCarthy complete one of the most incredible comeback performances in recent memory. That 13-yard touchdown pass in the fourth quarter, the one that sparked the entire Vikings rally. Jefferson caught that with $1 million worth of diamonds around his neck, proving that sometimes the most expensive accessories come with the most priceless moments. Are you convinced that Jefferson's diamond collection gives him superpowers on the field, or do you think it's all just coincidence? Let us know in the comments. And if you're as mesmerized by Jefferson's bling game as we are, hit that subscribe button, because you clearly have excellent taste in both football and jewelry. Ya, Siraj, parte 4, terceira noticia, 4,500, 5,000 caracteres. But trust me, the night only gets darker from here. Because while the Vikings were celebrating their miraculous comeback, a devastating injury to one of their most crucial defensive players threatens to derail everything they're trying to accomplish this season. We're talking about Blake Cashman, the linebacker who's absolutely essential to Brian Flores' aggressive defensive scheme, and the injury he suffered in the fourth quarter could sideline him for several weeks, potentially destroying the Vikings' championship aspirations before they even get started. This is the kind of news that makes your stomach drop, especially when you realize just how important Cashman is to everything the Vikings do on defense. Here's what happened during that fourth quarter when the Vikings were in the middle of their comeback magic. Cashman was pursuing Bears quarterback Caleb Williams when he suddenly pulled up without any contact and immediately left the game, which is always the classic sign of a soft tissue hamstring injury that could linger for weeks or even months. The MRI results came back on Tuesday, and they confirmed what Vikings fans were dreading to hear. Cashman is expected to miss several weeks, and there's already speculation that the team might hold him out until after their Week 6 bye to ensure a full recovery, which would mean putting him on injured reserve and losing him for a minimum of 4 games. This is absolutely crushing news for a Minnesota defense that relies heavily on Cashman's unique combination of speed, instinct, and intelligence to make Brian Flores' complex system work. In Flores' scheme, which is built around creating pressure through blitzing and exotic coverages, the inside linebackers have to cover massive amounts of space in the middle of the field, and Cashman's rare ability to both rush the passer and drop into coverage is nearly impossible to replace. Just look at what happened last season when Cashman missed games. The Vikings' first 2 losses came in games without him, and savvy offensive coordinators were able to exploit those vacancies in the middle of the field for huge yardage and scoring opportunities. In 2024, Cashman had a breakout year with 112 combined tackles, 4.5 sacks, and 8 passes defended, proving that he's not just a role player, but a legitimate difference maker who can change the outcome of games. The immediate replacement is veteran Eric Wilson, who stepped up admirably on Monday night and even handled the defensive play calling duties while making several key plays, including a tackle for loss and a deflected punt that was crucial to the comeback effort. But here's the reality. Wilson brings veteran presence and familiarity with the system, but replacing Cashman's sideline-to-sideline speed and playmaking ability is going to be nearly impossible for anyone on the current roster. This injury forces Brian Flores to potentially dial back some of his more exotic blitz packages or provide more safety help over the middle to protect the linebackers, which could completely change the identity of a defense that was supposed to be one of the best in the league. The timing couldn't be worse for Cashman either, a Minnesota native whose return to the Vikings has been a welcome homecoming story, but who now has to deal with the frustration of watching his team from the sidelines during what could be a special season. Do you think Eric Wilson and the Vikings' depth can step up and fill the massive hole left by Blake Cashman's injury? Or is this the kind of loss that derails championship dreams before they can get started? Share your thoughts below and hit that like button if you're praying for a speedy recovery for one of Minnesota's most underrated defensive stars. La parte 5, quarta noticia, 4,500 to 5,000 characters. Stay with me, because what comes next will flip the script in ways nobody predicted, and it involves the one factor that analytics can't measure but might be the most important weapon in the Vikings' arsenal. We're diving into Kevin O'Connell's supernatural ability to win close games, a skill that has baffled experts and mathematicians who keep predicting regression to the mean. But here's the thing, what if this isn't luck at all, but rather the secret sauce that makes the difference between good teams and championship contenders? Check out these numbers that will absolutely blow your mind. Kevin O'Connell has gone 21-9 in games decided by 8 points or less over his 3 years as head coach, which is an incredible .700 winning percentage in the most pressure-packed situations imaginable. Analytics experts keep saying the Vikings will regress to 500 in close games because that's what the data suggests should happen, but they're missing the one thing that can't be quantified by any algorithm or advanced statistic: the human element of coaching and the confidence that flows from the top down through an entire organization. Monday night's comeback against the Bears was the perfect example of O'Connell's magic in action, and it all came down to one crucial moment at halftime when McCarthy was struggling and the team was falling behind. Instead of panicking or making drastic changes, O'Connell looked his rookie quarterback in the eyes and said something that changed the entire trajectory of the game. McCarthy, for him to make some of the plays he did, I told him at halftime, you are going to bring us back to win this game. And the look in his eye was fantastic. The best thing is just the belief I felt from the team, the unit. And ultimately, that doesn't get done without him in the second half. That level of belief and confidence can't be measured by any computer model, but it's the difference between players who shrink in big moments and players who rise to the occasion when everything is on the line. O'Connell has this incredible ability to connect with players on a deeper level, just like he did with Josh Dobbs during that miracle win over the Atlanta Falcons that seemed impossible until it actually happened. The entire roster buys into what O'Connell is selling because they can feel that he genuinely believes in them, even when the odds are stacked against them and everyone else is ready to write them off. What makes O'Connell special isn't just the X's and O's or the play calling, though those are certainly important. It's his ability to keep his team believing they can win even when everything is going wrong. On Monday night, you could see that belief spreading through the Vikings sidelines even after McCarthy threw that pick six and the team was down by double digits. O'Connell never wavered, never showed panic, and never lost faith in his quarterback or his team's ability to find a way to win. The players feed off that energy and confidence, which is why the Vikings have been so successful in close games during O'Connell's tenure. While other teams wilt under pressure and make critical mistakes in crunch time, the Vikings keep playing with the same intensity and confidence because their head coach has taught them that no deficit is too large and no situation is too dire to overcome. Analytics can predict a lot of things in football, but they can't quantify leadership, belief, and the kind of coaching that turns good players into champions and transforms potential into reality. O'Connell's record in one-score games isn't an accident or a statistical anomaly that's due for regression. It's a natural result of having a head coach who knows how to maximize his team's potential when it matters most. Do you believe Kevin O'Connell's coaching magic is the real deal? Or do you think the analytics experts are right about regression to the mean eventually catching up with the Vikings? Sound off in the comments and smash that subscribe button if you think O'Connell is building something special in Minnesota that goes way beyond what any computer model can predict. Viking Parte 6, Quinta Noticia, plus conclusão, 4,500 to 5,000 characters. And listen closely, because the most explosive revelation saves the best for last, and it involves a comparison that has everyone in the NFL world talking about J.J. McCarthy's potential after his stunning comeback performance. Colin Cowherd, one of the most influential voices in sports media, just put McCarthy in the same conversation as a quarterback who signed a $100 million contract, and the reasoning behind this comparison will give Vikings fans chills about what their rookie quarterback might become. Here's what Cowherd said that has everyone buzzing. I've found my J.J. McCarthy comp. It's Baker Mayfield. Player to college power, tons of emotion, a lot of energy. I wish they were bigger. But all they have to do, Baker and J.J. McCarthy, can go into slumps and get reckless. But if they make one big throw and they gain that confidence, their velocity and their accuracy changes. Yeah, this isn't just some throwaway comparison either. Cowherd specifically pointed to how McCarthy's entire demeanor and body language transformed after he connected with Justin Jefferson for that 13-yard touchdown that sparked the comeback. Before that moment, McCarthy looked like a rookie quarterback who was overwhelmed by the moment and struggling to find his rhythm against a tough Bears defense. But after making that one crucial throw, something clicked inside McCarthy's mind, and you could literally see the confidence flowing through his body as he took control of the game in ways that veteran quarterbacks would be proud of. Cowherd explained it perfectly. All Baker needs is to step into it. One rope and Baker changes. What you really saw from J.J. McCarthy is an old saying: nobody is going to believe in you in life until you believe in yourself. And you watched his body language change. The fact that Baker Mayfield just signed a 3-year, $100 million deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers makes this comparison even more significant, because it suggests that McCarthy has the kind of potential that could eventually lead to a massive